Hi, welcome everyone again to this class. And in this session, we'll be rounding up Git, GitHub, and we'll also be talking about Markdown language. So, me saying that we are going to be rounding up Git and GitHub does not mean that we've exhausted everything Git and GitHub. That's not true. So, what we just did previously is just things that we need to start or things that we need to know, beginner level stuff that we need to know before we actually can go and do all that stuff. You can actually go ahead by yourself and then read some documentation, do some more research, and then if you have other issues that may arise when you're working on any project, you just have to find out how you can solve it. But these are the basic things that we need to start. I'll also be going through one more stuff with Git, and then while I'm doing that too, I'll be introducing Markdown language. So in this particular class, if you look at what we have here, I'm logged in currently as VictorX27. So I will go over who VictorX27 is again. VictorX27 is the user that forked the original repository. But this time around, we are not using the forked version. We are now working as a collaborator. So we added VictorX27 as a collaborator on this project. So if you look at Git, let's open the terminal and then just try to do our remote to see where we are currently pointing to. So the command to do that is going to be git remote -v. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so clear my screen. So I'm going to do git remote -v, and you can see that I'm pointing to Amobi repository. I'm not pointing to the forked repository this time around. And if you look at what we have here, or even looking at this from the terminal, you can see that we are in feature science name. We should, if it doesn't show in your terminal, which I don't believe is going to show in everybody's terminal, you can use the git branch and you can see that the feature science name is actually asterisk. So I'll just press Q to exit. I want to go over to the main branch because I want to do a particular stuff. I want to update this readme file, which just has author is Amobi and comment. This is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to still leave this open. I'm going to still leave this open, and I'm then going to check out to the main branch, git checkout main. So I have switched over to the main branch, and it says your branch is up to date with origin main. So let me see if that's true over here. Sorry, you won't be able to see this right now, but I'm on that system logged in as Amobi, and I want to see that file info1.txt. So I want to see that info1.txt. That code will actually be updated by Young Josie. Ideally, when I want to work on a new branch, because I'm working with a lot of people here, so when I want to work on a new branch, what I actually need to do, I need to pull whatever is in my remote repository. When I do this, you're going to see that from the current code that I have here on the main branch, this username is not there. So I'm going to git pull, and then we can see that there's a change right now. There is a new name there, and you can see this user made changes to this code. So it's possible that while you are working on your own feature branch, someone else made a change to the main branch. So you need to actually pull whatever is in your remote repository to your local repository each time you want to create a new feature from the main branch. We need to keep on doing this. So even if when I'm done with my feature branch and I probably want to push my code, I can still come and pull down from my main branch and merge back into my feature branch just to make sure that the code I'm pushing is up to date with the main branch, and if there's any conflict, I'll solve it before I create a pull request. So that's the last thing with Git and GitHub I wanted to touch on. So the next thing I really want us to look at is Markdown language. So what's a Markdown language? What's MD? You can see that I have a README.md file. One thing that's very important when you're working on a project is documentation. So when we talk about documentation, we are like writing steps on what our project is about, how to install our project on anyone's system. You can write things about like the contributors to that project, the dependencies of that project, what that project relies on, the prerequisites to running that particular code. So these are all the things that you can mention in your README file. So if you heard about HTML, .md also is a Markdown language. So it's a format we can use to clearly document whatever we are doing on our code. I'm going to copy what I have from a previous project, which is here, and then I'm just going to explain some few things here. So I'm going to copy this and I'll just paste this here. So if you look at this, a lot of things are going on here. You're seeing new stuff. You're seeing hash. You're seeing like backticks. And what's going on here? This is how we write a Markdown language. And if I wanted to view this, if I want to see how this is going to appear when someone else is going to view it, I can just click on this particular symbol here, not this one, this particular one that says open preview to the side. So this is going to allow us to see whatever is going on here. It's in VS Code, so this comes with VS Code. Once you have a Markdown language, you're going to see it appear in that top right corner there. So I'm just going to click on it and then I will see my text beautifully formatted. We don't need to worry about the contents. What we just need to worry about is the syntax of our Markdown language. If you look at this text we have here, we have epic meal. We have epic meal, but in front of it you can see a hash sign. And if you look at epic meal on your right hand side, let me close this so that it's quite visible. See if I make this bold, that's all. Okay, yes. So if you look at the epic meal on the right hand side, you can see that it is very bold. So this is how we write headings in Markdown language. This is heading 1 if you're used to HTML. This is like heading 1. So if I want it to call more attention, I'll just put 1 hash symbol. If I make it 2 hash symbol, you can see that it's lighter when you look at get started here. Get started has a 2 hash symbol in front of it, but it's not as bold as epic mail. So I can still go for and put 3 hash, 4 hash, 5 hash. You can see when I put the hash symbol here, when we are going to see it in our code, the preview, there's no hash symbol there. So this is just the way we can write our headings. I have to apologize for the noise that is coming through. So something else that we can see is if I don't actually even put the hash symbol, I still have like a normal text here, just a normal written text, which is actually fine. So I'm going to leave this one for now. I'm going to leave this as in like totally out of this, not even just for now. So you don't need to worry yourself about that. Yeah. You can see prerequisite that Charlie has like 3 hash symbols. You can see it's smaller than getting started. So that aside, that's done. We are done with the headers. If I wanted to write something in quotes, I kind of like want it to stand out in a Markdown language. Take for instance, I have like a code snippet that I want people to run, and I want them to know that this is the code line, or just to draw more attention to whatever is going on there. I can use these 3 backticks to start and to close this. You can see that when I use these 3 backticks, you can see git clone, these are my instructions on how to get started on the project. I can also decide to write, you might see some people do this just to let you know that this is a command line argument. So this is something else we can now also do in Markdown language. So the next thing I'm going to move to is how do we put bullet points. We just put bullet points by using the dash. So you can see that my prerequisite, I have like a browser, a text editor, good internet connection, and install Node.js and npm. So if I want it to be in bullet points, I'll just use the dash, the hyphen. So I'm just going to scroll down. This is another heading again, like another subheading. We use 2 hash symbol. You can see it standing out here. Another thing I want us to take note on is, if you look at line 72 here, you have to run sample test on deployed app, click. Then you have this epic mail in square brackets, and then you have a link inside round brackets. But if you look at the right hand side, you don't see the link itself. It just says to run sample test on deployed app, click epic mail. Now you can see that epic mail is showing as a link. So this is the way we write links. So you have a link, but you want it to stand out as a title. You know, like when you see stuff like read more, and then you click on the read more, and then it opens up on another page. So that's kind of similar, the similar stuff that we have here too. Our epic mail, we are attaching it to whatever we are going to write in between the round brackets. So what we are going to actually just see is the epic mail. We are not going to see the square brackets. We are not going to see the round brackets. So this is how we use links and how we attach links to actual and to just words. So this is like my sample output result. Then when I wrote this, that was like 4 years ago. Okay. So this was what I built the application with. You can see I used a lot of that. You can see Node.js, and then inside the brackets, the link to where you can get more info on Node.js. But if you look at this, it's just Node.js in blue colors, and then when I hover on it, you can see an underline that's saying that you can actually click on this, and then it's going to take you somewhere. And then just the rest of the stuff. If I want a word to be in bold, I can just use the double asterisk. You can see that Ubikobiya Mobi is in bold. But if I want it to be in italics, you can see initial work is actually slanting here. It's in italics here. These are my acknowledgements, and so if you also notice something, I use the asterisk here too, and then it also did like the same thing at the dash should also do. So basically, this is how we actually document our stuff, and I'm going to push this code. So I've updated this, but I haven't committed to the main branch. Remember, I said something in the previous class that we are not supposed to be working on the main branch. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to do a git checkout. I haven't actually saved this code. I haven't pushed it to the staging area. I haven't actually committed to the git repository. So I'm going to check out to create my new branch first. Git checkout -b. I'm going to call this is a chore, and I'm call it documentation. So I'll switch over to that branch, and now I can actually add this if I want to. Remember, this is just for, this is not the main code that we are working on, but this is just me trying to bring to you like what the Markdown language is for and what the README.md file is actually supposed to do. So I'm going to just name this animals first. I'll change this to animals, so but I'm not going to change the rest. I'm just going to change this to animals, and then I'm going to do a git add, and I'm going to do a git commit. I'm going to just say update readme.md file. And then I hit enter, and then I can push. I can just do git push. We haven't set upstream for this, so I'm going to use git push -u origin and the name of our branch, which is show documentation, then good to go. So that's done. Okay, so let me go over to, hold on, let me copy that remote branch and just open it here. Git remote -v. So what I'm just doing here is I'm trying to open that particular repository, and I want to show you how the README file looks like, and then show you how it's going to look like when we are done with this whole process. So currently on the main branch, which is where we are right now, if you look at this, we're on the main branch. You can just see author is Amobe and comment. That's all we have. But I'm going to do something here. I'm going to create a pull request trying to merge to the main branch, and then I will approve that pull request, and I'm just going to have update readme here. I'm going to have this as chore. I didn't need to remove that. Update readme. Okay, so I'm trying to create a pull request from our chore branch to our main branch, and yes, this is me creating the pull request. So you're not going to see this part. I'm going to move over to your system. I'm going to merge that pull request as Amobi Bikobe. So I'm doing that currently. I have a pull request here. I open it. I see that there's no merge conflicts, and then I merge the pull request, confirm merge, and yeah, and you can see the update here. So that branch has been merged. I can actually choose to delete that branch, and then I will go over to my code. Then we'll look at that readme section we had down here again. Now this looks much more better than what we had previously. It's very much readable. You can see where you can copy code from. So when I use the 3 backticks to open and close it, you can see that you can actually copy it when it shows here on GitHub. Everything is well aligned. There are different sections for different parts. This is the main stuff. Then these are subsections. You can see everything here is well detailed and well aligned. So this is how Markdown languages like. This is how we use them. So every code that we are working on, I want us to actually document the process. If you need this format, I can actually drop it for you. You document everything from the name of the project to your prerequisites, everything that the user needs to do to be able to run your project successfully. So when we work more on certain projects, we'll put this into play, because if another user, someone sees your code on the internet, they should be able to run it. If you want the person to run it, if it's public and you want the person to be able to fork it and run it, the person does not need to communicate with you on how to set up the system. If the person does that, then you've actually failed somehow in your documentation. So you see that we use Git in a sense to also document. When we write our Git commit, we write some messages on the process of everything that is done. Oh, I added this particular stuff, I added this feature, I removed this feature. That's a documentation in Git itself. And then your README file is going to show some other level of documentation. Documentation is very important when you want to be, if you want to be an engineer, whether you're a software engineer, you're a data engineer, whatever form of engineering you're doing or development you're into, you need to actually document the process like completely. So this is the end of Git, GitHub, and Markdown for now. Every other thing will be in subsequent class. But when I'm teaching any other stuff, then you see us using more of these concepts, and we are not going to be, it's not something that should shock you or something that you won't be comfortable doing, because we've done a lot of this here. So the resources you can use will be in the description below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.